You're God dreaming this. It's amazing. Look around you. Whatever you're paying attention to, you're rendering. It didn't appear to exist until you paid attention to it and assumed that it was there. And then you magically make it appear to exist. You're God. And whatever you pay attention to, you give rise to, you make it appear to exist because you are the awareness. You are existence itself giving rise to it, making it appear. So just like that quote that my son said, he said, things would have to appear together because all alone it wouldn't appear to exist. And then the beautiful quote that Duncan commented on my YouTube, Neil Donald Walsh, in the absence of that which you are not, that which you are is not. So this beautiful dream that you as singularity, as pure awareness are projecting to experience yourself, because how else could you? You're singular, you're all alone. Singular. You wouldn't be able to experience yourself. You wouldn't be able to stand apart or like in deep sleep, all alone.
Okay. Focus.
So yeah, all alone, singular, as pure awareness, you would project or imagine yourself as an object of awareness so that you could have something to be aware of, something to experience yourself with, to interact with yourself. So you're God dreaming this, and what's so beautiful is you're not even in the dream. Just like quantum physics and neuroscience has discovered that consciousness is outside of the illusion of time and space. And just like the analogy of the VR headset, you're a pure consciousness that doesn't have a body, that doesn't have a form, doesn't have a personality, that's infinite, infinite awareness looking through the VR headset, looking through the imagination, dreaming this, projecting it, rendering it, and perceiving it, giving rise to it, illuminating it, existence itself. So you are the one behind the headset, the pure infinite mind. You're not the avatar in the headset. You're not the illusory virtual reality that you're giving rise to. And nothing is what it appears to be because you're the infinite awareness giving rise to it. It's your mind projecting it. So everything is formless. Everything is your infinite self, not separate from you. It couldn't appear to exist without you being aware of it. You're rendering it. You're giving rise to it. You're the source of it. But you're not actually interacting with any objects. Like all of this is like a hallucination of the mind. It's all the infinite energy that you are, the formless and invisible energy that you are mentally projected. So it's like this mental hallucination so that you as singularity can experience yourself. But it's so cool because when you distill everything, when you really investigate, you can see clearly that you're not even interacting with objects like holding this teacup, you know, um, is the without the sense of touch and without seeing what is the holding the teacup. You know, you're not actually holding a thing called a cup. You're actually not in a body. There actually is no body. All there is perception. So all there is knowing. All there is awareness. So when you reduce it back, all distill it to what's really happening here. There are no objects. All there is knowing. All there is perception, is awareness. So even like the appearance of doing anything, walking down a street, there is no walking down a street. There is no street. There is no physical forms or objects. There's just the knowing. There's just the perceiving, awareness. So like washing dishes, there are no dishes. There is no body washing the dishes. There's just perception. Because what is there without the sense of touch, and then the seeing, the hearing, you know? And what are those senses? It's just perceiving. So you, as pure awareness, singularity, infinite consciousness, are appearing to modulate yourself in these as this sensual experience, this sensory experience. And it's not what it appears to be. Just like Donald Hoffman said, the icons in the headset are hiding the truth. It's not what it appears to be. Just like it's hiding the toggles and the zeros and ones, the code, you know. So everything you see is you as infinite awareness modulating itself to experience itself, to interact with itself, taste itself as everything. And it's just novelty. It's you know, for pointless fun. And can't be separate from itself. So even the thought that it's separate from itself is itself. So it modulates itself. It appears, imagines itself as thoughts and sensations and appearances, and just to taste itself, to have fun with itself, to experience itself, to know itself, to expand in itself. And it's free to be as limited or as limitless as it, you know, as you believe yourself to be. And then you render that to taste that. But just like being the one wearing the headset, you're not affected by anything that's happening, because what's, you know, appearing in the virtual reality is not really happening. And just like the dream at night, one of the biggest clues when you wake up from the dream and you realize, wow, there really wasn't a world to change or save, or no one to convince or help. There was no one suffering. There were no separate people. There were no separate characters. None of it was real. None of it even happened. It was just my mind. It was just me. It was my mind projecting this hallucination. And what was there really? What all there was perceiving sensations. Just like when you're wearing a headset, what's happening in the headset's not really happening, but it's eliciting these sensations, these feelings, these emotions, these. So it's consciousness tasting itself, as these illusory sensations. So all there is awareness. When you reduce it down to distill it to what am I? What the hell is going on here? I wrote down the other day, what's being looked for is the awareness which you already are. Even saying I'm the absolute is just a thought. What is there without a thought? Just the absolute, without a thought about it. Just silent, empty awareness. Appearing to be covered up with the thought, I need to find it, which is it, the absolute awareness. Being distracted, appearing to itself as a thought, which is so great. You can't escape yourself as the absolute, as the infinite self, which is why the seeker is the sought, What's being looked for is the one looking. So it's playfully like the VR headset analogy, you as pure singularity awareness that's formless, bodiless, characterless, wearing the VR headset, looking through, giving rise to it, illuminating the dream or the imagination. Innocently, playfully getting lost in it, like all of a sudden identifying as the avatar in the headset, and is desperately looking for itself as the one that it already is, which is the one wearing the headset. And then through the inquiry, because when you start to investigate this stuff, it's inevitable that you find yourself, because you never lost yourself. And that's why inquiry and all of that works, is because even that question, who am I and what's experiencing this? Consciousness, pure awareness that's looking through the headset turns around and looks at itself. So instead of being distracted by the thoughts and the objects of experience that it's illuminating and projecting for fun, for novelty, turns around and looks at itself. And that's when you're like, oh, snap. I'm not the character. I'm not the avatar in the headset. I'm consciousness. So it's not the character that wakes up. It's consciousness recognizing itself, which is already self-aware, but appeared to get covered up by getting distracted with its novelty, its fantasies, and what the thoughts that it's projecting itself as. And so that's why it's not an attaining, or it's not a getting something or adding to. It's uncovering or turning around and looking at itself. It's like, instead of being distracted by the kind of like the blue sky, is always the blue sky. It's always, itself, and then appearing to get covered up by the clouds. It's still the blue sky, but it's appearing to get distracted by the clouds, and then it turns around and looks at itself. So yeah, it's too easy and too already. It's whatever's being felt right now is the infinite feeling itself. It's modulating itself as the sensation, and that's how it can recognize itself, because how else could you? You'd have to project what you're not to see what you are. You're singular. So this beautiful dream is, is how you as God give yourself a reference point so that you can recognize yourself, realize yourself as God. Because how else could you? Like in deep sleep, all alone, not conscious of being aware. Totally singular. So it's like in deep sleep, you're completely turned around looking at yourself. There's nothing else. But in this beautiful dream, you project this imagination to explore and experience yourself, and which you can appear to get lost in your novelty, and are free to do that, are free to appear limited or bound or whatever, which is just all for fun because none of it's really happening. Just like a dream at night, you remain unaffected, just like you didn't get harmed in the dream. You were the mind projecting it, the awareness perceiving it. You weren't affected at all. And just like the movie screen at the movie theater doesn't get burned by the fire in the movie, you're like the self-aware screen witnessing the movie that's playing upon you. You're not even in the dream. You're the one mind behind the headset, giving rise to it, making it appear. You are existence itself. This sentience, this feeling I'm alive, even the referring to myself, self, is the being, is the infinite being that you are, is the entire universe, from which everything appears and disappears within you. But it gets misidentified by identifying with the avatar in the headset. So it appears to localize and misidentify that feeling of myself or self, which is being, which is I am, which is I exist, with just being the avatar. So that's when it appears to be a subject-object split, So then you've localized yourself as an object, and so then everything else is an object, which is an illusion, which is beautifully, just for fun, what is it like to be human when I'm not? What is it like to be finite when I'm infinite? To experience that. And how else could you wake up from the dream without dreaming? How else could you recognize yourself as God without reference point to what you're not, to identifying with being finite, You would need the reference point. So it's all what you wanted. It's amazing. And it's so cool too, because you already know that you are. You already know that you're the infinite, immortal, unchanging, invincible self that never dies, that's never born. You already know that you're God. So whenever there's thoughts that say otherwise, or are limited or dividing or separating, it triggers the intuition alarm system, which is that sensation of fear, or because it's screaming, no, wake up. This is not separate. You're God. And that's what wakes you up from the dream, even at night, with the hardcore fear or refusal to accept what's happening, is real. It's what shakes you out of it, you know? So then you'll dream these characters. You'll dream like even ignorant characters as yourself as God, dreaming this, projecting yourself as that to wake you up from the dream. You'll dream all sorts of characters to wake you up because it's you waking yourself up. So you'll dream even ignorant characters speaking of limitations and things that just you refuse. You know, it's just, it triggers, it it makes you question, it makes you transcend it. Or you know, so you'll dream characters um, talking about things you either want to transcend or that you resonate with, or that you, because it's you dreaming yourself as God, as this immutable self, talking to yourself, waking yourself up. And it's so cool how it's all one immutable energy, kind of like frequency. It can appear as infinite radio stations, you know, where you tune into a part of yourself as consciousness, infinite consciousness, exploring its infinite capacity. So when it's identifying as being limited or bound, that it'll tune into that radio station, then it'll project that, you know, movie on the screen and sample that. What is that like? Tasting itself. And then it'll when it appears to expand more and more into itself, like what people call like, you know, levels of consciousness, or seeing itself from a higher perspective, you can even tune into the radio station of, you don't even have a body, you're invincible. And then even the body becomes invincible because the body is formless. There is no body. All of this is your mind is God, and that's all you see is your formless self. So then you experience that, you know, it's like infinite experience. And none of it's wrong or right or good or bad. It's just an infinite adventure, infinite self discovery. So I could see how the distraction with the thoughts and stuff was appearing to hide myself from myself. I was appearing as the thoughts, I was projecting myself as the thoughts, but I was getting, using it to distract myself that I'm not the character, that I'm not what I thought I was, that I'm this empty awareness, empty potential that doesn't have a body, that's completely timeless. And once I caught on to those scams, I couldn't be fooled anymore. Because when it was starting to become obvious that I'm this emptiness, this silence between thoughts, this substratum from which thoughts appear and disappear, this nakedness, you know, this when it was starting to become too obvious. I am no thing. I'm not an object. This infinite consciousness that doesn't have a body, that's empty potential, can be anything. This silence between after this word. It doesn't have a story unless I pay attention to the thought of it. And then I project a story. quickly, there was this feeling of excitement and a little bit of anxiety because it was like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute into this emptiness, this void that I am, that's completely vast and unknowable because I'm too infinite and am the knowing. That the thoughts came in quick, have a problem to solve, give me something to worry about. And that was when it was game over. It was like I saw through it instantly. I couldn't be fooled anymore. So that's the beautiful game of hide and seek. That this is playing hide and seek with itself. And what you resist persists, which is how you keep the illusion going, because the more you resist, the more it persists. So if you resist a thought, it'll just keep coming up to distract you. And what's so beautiful is the secret weapon, the secret formula to everything is awareness, because you are the infinite awareness. So if you're aware of the thought being resisted and feel it fully without thought, just purely being it, being one with it, just pure awareness, being aware of it, just feeling it fully. You swallow it as the source, you dissolve it within yourself, you integrate it, it comes home. It was just screaming to come home. Everything you resist will just fucking bang at the door to come home until you integrate it, which can happen immediately by seeing yourself, by awareness being aware of itself, can appear to happen immediately, kind of like deleting files on a computer, just instant dissolving all limited beliefs and fully integrates, or it can appear gradual, like a gradual homecoming where they just appear, they stuff that was repressed or resisted, pushed down, can come up to come home. And once you respond differently, where you're not resisting it or avoiding it or telling it to go away, or you're separate from me, or the thoughts arguing with them, with themselves, which is just another thought where, you can't work out a thought with another thought. It's the cessation of thoughts that resolves the thought. When instead of resisting it or fighting with it, you witness it. You just are completely present, aware of the feeling without thought. Just pure silent awareness. It comes home to the source that you are, from which all thoughts appear and disappear, from which the entire universe appears and disappears. And you bring it home. So even I've, like how people say, the meing and being. Well, there is no meing and being. Everything's just being. Everything is the self. Everything is the source. But what appears to divide it is the resisting the meing part. So compartmentalizing, saying that the being's it, but not the meing, which is, the illusion of separation. But when you integrate the meing, or the meing that's being resisted, by completely feeling it, being aware of it without thought, just completely being it, brings it home to the self. And then there is no separation. There is no separate being and meing. It's all being. It's all the immaculate one self, which all that is just pure awareness modulating itself as a finite sensation that it's tasting. So just like being God wearing the VR headset, you're not any of the finite sensations appearing. You're illuminating it, rendering it, tasting it, unaffected by it, always eternal. But that sensation of being a person only is there when you resist it. Because what you resist persists, because it's all you. Everything's you. When it's told that it's not you is when it hurts or has that sensation of discomfort. So when there's no resistance to, I feel like a person, it dissolves within you as the source. And it can't appear without you. You are pure awareness, so it can't appear without you being aware of it. You are the source of it. Experiencing yourself as everything, imagining yourself as everything. And you can be anything. You are everything. So yeah, there's nothing physical. This is all your mind. This is all you as God, dreaming yourself, imagining yourself to be. And everything you see is formless energy. It's not, it's all you as the infinite. So like the icons appearing to cover up the truth is this isn't an object. This is infinite. You are infinite. You can be anything. When you really distill everything, all there is awareness. All there is knowing. So like, you're never interacting with things called objects, or you're never really interacting or in contact with a thing called a world. All you're experiencing, all you're in contact with is perception. Because all there is consciousness. There are no objects. Everything you see is mental, mind. There are no physical objects or anything solid, or there's just awareness. Self-aware. Yay, so we can chat about anything, and if you want to chat in the chat box or unmute or yeah, like Neville Goddard, his quote, the feeling is the secret. Feeling is the secret. Feeling it fully is being it. It's the tantric union. It's making love to it. It's integrating it. When this was coming in and out here, when I was, having the waves where I was still separating the distraction from the beingness or whatever, and kind of like being in the movie theater, eating popcorn, watching the movie, you're not in the movie, you're just entertained by it. It's not affecting you. And then all of a sudden you're the character on the screen in the movie, and the movie's real. When I was vigilantly catching that right away, when I'd be like, oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't separate those two, and then I'd feel it fully and then dissolve it within myself and then see it for how it is. There was this moment where the thoughts were arguing because there was a resisted thought that came up, and then there was another thought that was arguing with that thought, which is just a downward spiral. It just unending. Okay, like a spiral that doesn't ever work out itself, because it's being aware of it that works it out. It's that silence, that silent witnessing that works it out. But I was vigilantly caught it right away. And then I was like, what's aware of this? What's experiencing this? And then you see yourself as the absolute again. And then there was this overwhelming love affair that happened where I was like, oh my God, these thoughts aren't separate from me. Nothing is separate from me. Why am I fragmenting myself? Why am I avoiding part of myself? Saying that this one's bad and that one's good, and this is all singular. There is no separation. And I am the absolute awareness giving rise to all of this beautiful imaginary play. And I could see the thoughts as me and like not separate from me in that moment. And I started crying like, oh my God, I'm so sorry I left you out. I'm so sorry I was scared of you or told you you were separate or wrong. And you are me, this immutable energy, this immutable awareness, modulating myself as this thought. There is no separate thought or sensation or appearance. I'm the knowing, and everything is me, is the knowing. Just like in the dream at night, how could anything in the dream be separate from you? You're the one dreaming it. You're the one mind perceiving it, projecting it. So how could thoughts be separate from you? So it's like this love affair, tantrically, like feeling yourself as everything. And when the thoughts aren't resisted and they're not scary, there's nothing to be scared of. So then they quiet. They get quiet and even appear pleasant because, you see yourself for what you are, and what you resist persists. So if you're not resisting the thought, you integrate all of them within you, and there are no negative thoughts. There are nothing to be scared of. So like a homecoming, but then you realize you've always been home. It's not really a homecoming. There's nothing but home.
Hey.
Yay! Oh, how fun!
Change
That's
of scenery, hanging in the backyard.
heck yeah, dude. I'm obsessed with hammocks. That's awesome.
Do you have another graduation today? You look very nice today.
A
Did you just want to
graduation?
change it up? Yeah. Is
Wait,
your
what do
other
you mean?
son graduating? Well,
Oh,
you're all
no,
done up today.
I'm all done. Yeah, I went to the graduation and that, yeah. I have to tell you something funny about the graduation.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
okay.
so
You know what's really weird is the
what?
night before I had a dream that I was in some sort of graduation ceremony. Isn't that weird?
No way.
Yeah,
You rendered it.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
so
That's
cool.
exactly it. Yeah.
It's so cool. Liam is very aloof. Like me, I'm the character's kind of aloof a lot of the times, but he's like, I don't care about graduation. I don't give a shit. I don't even want to walk on the stage. This is so silly. And he was like, I don't want anyone to make a big deal of it. I don't even want, why are the grandparents coming in town? I don't want that. And so he was like, not making a big, and I don't make a big deal. I'm like, whatever. It's a dream graduation. It's whatever. And my mom was making a big deal out of it. She kept crying and being like, I can't believe I'm not going to be there. And I got to get the gift there in time. And I'm like, Mom, who cares? He doesn't even care. Like, what the hell? There's not even a graduation. And what's so hilarious is I got to the graduation and there was this epic music playing, like iconic, you know. And then here he comes walking down with his gown. And all of a sudden I start bawling. Like I'm like I'm being moved by a movie, like that those emotional parts
Yep.
in the movie that are just like so moving. I was bawling and laughing. It was so great. It was so great.
You're like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that epic energy, that energy of iconic frequency or something. It's like
I thought you were gonna say when the music was epic, he was gonna start dancing or something.
Oh, that's cute.
Getting into the groove.
Some of them did do that, did do
Yeah,
something
I bet.
funny. Yeah. Yeah, what an epic dream. It's amazing. Yeah, the hammock is such a symbol of there's nothing to do. There's nothing to have to do. Everything's already done. It's all total perfection.
That's right. There's one we've got one at our cottage and it's right in front of the lake. And it's you just that's it. You just lay there and there's nothing to do but just soak it all in. And then the
Yeah.
little bastard mosquitoes come around. That's
Totally.
one of the things I've got to edit out. Mosquitoes. Get out of here.
Oh, that's so funny because I've always been very picky about climate, where the location where the body is. So that's why I'm one of the urges to move to Colorado was there's no fucking mosquitoes. There's just total beauty and like I could camp all the time without mosquitoes. And then I moved to Black Mountain, which we don't have any either. We have like
Oh,
maybe I'll get like one or two bites, you know, in the summer, but it's not bad at all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, I'm not down with mosquitoes.
no, well there it's like you're trying to get to sleep and if there's mosquitoes in the room, it's just you got to listen to them buzz and then they land and then you just start swatting hoping that you're going to hit them.
Yeah,
Next thing you know, you hear them buzzing again. You're like, oh, missed them that time. You wake up
that's
all
funny.
bruised. Yeah, mosquitoes.
That is funny, isn't it?
Yeah, not while it's happening, but
Yeah.
yeah, think back and it's an experience.
Yeah, it's so beautiful how you dream all of these finite sensations to transcend them. You know, it's like you're um also to see that they're finite, to see that they're temporary. Because I remember when I would project, like, for example, my mom, when I needed her the most, she wasn't there for me or unreliable. And I could see that I was dreaming that so that I could turn around and look at what's reliable, what's always there. So I feel like stuff like that is a cool little clue too to kind of like the temporary annoying things, you know, like
Mm.
it's,
Yeah, it's like that thing that I posted to Facebook yesterday. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no one's gonna like this. They all think I'm crazy. No one's even gonna look at it. Yeah, it's like crickets other than you. And then before that, the last post that I did was an update of my profile picture, and it's just got thousands of likes because I'm like, I liked it, right? I liked it, so everybody else likes it. And then yesterday's is like, yeah, crickets because in I'm just that's kind of how it goes. I'm like, nobody's gonna want to post on this or say, like this,
yeah.
and nobody does.
What's so interesting too is you can look at everything as a limited belief, a projection of a false assumption. So then you can even change all of those or open up to the like I want to turn to the radio station of hanging out with characters that geek out on this or
Mhm.
something and then you kind of and then magically imagine that dream that yeah that is interesting. Yeah, but like what there's like we were chatting about the other day, when you see yourself as the absolute from the absolute perspective, so it's like you're seeing it how it is, and you see how fucking vast and limitless and infinite you are, and it's like, wow, it's almost overwhelming. You can't unsee that. You're geeking out on the magic of that, you know. And like we talked about, I haven't talked to many, people that have, which is just dreaming characters of yourself, talking to yourself, but I haven't, yeah, the ones that just geek out on the limitlessness of this is, seems to be unique, or,
Yeah, I hear you.
yeah,
It's so exciting because I'll just sit there and I'll even talk out loud to myself. I'm like, that's so awesome.
mhm.
Just thinking of like, and I'm like, I get excited for it, and then I'm like, well, I don't really want to jump on the top of my roof and jump off to see what happens, but I'm just like, I'm like, when
But
am
you
I
feel
going to
like
take
you
off?
can. You feel like,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, and it's
yeah,
going to happen. It's going to happen. Like it's inevitable. That's how I see it. It's going to happen
yeah.
because it happens in my dream, like my nighttime dreams. And the other night was a weird one where I was like, I was pushing myself up off my bed and then floating back down. And then all of a
Wow.
sudden, there's videos all over the place. One popped up the other day, was a short, and it was like, what do you get of this? And it was people running and jumping and flying and then landing and running and jumping and flying. And I'm like, looks like reality to me.
Mhm.
Definite
Yeah,
possibility.
you're infinite, you're limitless. You're only as
Yeah.
limited as you believe yourself to be, and then you project that. So when you can experiment with it, you can prove it to yourself. You can watch it. You can, because when I when you look at yourself from the perspective as being the absolute, this infinite consciousness, bodiless. You don't even have a body. You don't even need a body. All of this is formless. And so since you're invincible, everything's invincible. The body's invincible. You can do nothing harms you because it is you. Everything's God. So
Mhm.
poison is only poisonous if you label it that. You transmute everything within you. You bless everything as you. And then it's harmless. It was only a limited belief that projected that something caused harm or something was, and then it hallucinated the imaginary placebo symptom of it, which is not real. It was just a dream. So yeah, nothing can harm you, and nothing ever could anyway before. It's your consciousness is fundamental, so the body cannot harm the mind. The body cannot affect the mind. So nothing that happens to the body can affect the mind, which is just like when someone gets hit by a train and they have a near-death experience, and the body flatlines and consciousness is looking at the body, and then consciousness is like, oh snap, I wasn't the body that whole time. I was God dreaming this. I'm
Yeah.
the infinite mind that's projecting the body. I'm not in the body. I don't have a body.
That video that you sent me the other day was just so, it was incredible. And that's exactly what it was like. It's just such an eye opener
Hmm.
to yes, like it's just it answered almost every question. And that's why I reposted it. I'm like, this is
Yeah, very inspiring.
everything that I have been drip fed over the past 2 years, which don't exist or anything, but
Hmm.
it's why would why would you sit in a movie theater with just the projector playing with no film in it? It's just white light, right? That's pretty
Hmm.
boring. start to
Yeah,
film,
this is
and
for fun.
we're always manifesting everything that you're looking at. Well, looking at, quote
Mhm.
unquote, but is instant manifestation of you. So when they say there's gravity, well, that's just the system following the rules that have been temporarily established for this. What is that? Oh, this dream. Like it's so well explained in that video. It's
Mhm.
incredible.
Yeah, and being all mind, mental, there is no
Yeah,
thing called gravity. There's just
exactly.
you hallucinate, you project the illusion of space so that you, as the eternal subjectivity that is not an object, can interact with itself, because it would have to have an illusion of space for illusory objects to appear, which the objects are formless awareness, projecting itself as mental icons. They're not even physical. There's nothing, I can't even compute physical anymore when I
I know.
can't compute it. Like there's nothing physical. This is all mental. This is all imagination, like running around in the imagination, but you're not even in it. Just like when you're having a daydream of being a person in a world and interacting, doing shit, like playing it out in the daydream, you're not in the daydream. You're not in that scenario. You're not in that world. You are the one imagining it, the one that's, yeah, that doesn't get harmed or, you know.
Your avatar is your connection to that dream, and that's how the infinite plays with itself. That's if you think of it that way, right? You're like a little finger in the dream, and you're not you're it's
And you're not even in the dream.
I know,
You're
or
the
the
one
thought,
wearing the
and like
headset.
exactly,
Where,
yeah,
because
you,
you're
yeah,
animating it, you're giving rise, you're the
yes,
omnipotence awareness giving rise to it, making it appear animated.
the writer,
Yeah.
director, character, everything.
Hmm. Yeah. And the more you unfurl to yourself, which you already are yourself, it's not something to attain, it's something that you can't avoid already being. But, you can, with your, as being God and as your free will to do whatever, you can easily get lost in your fantasies and mental masturbation.
Yeah, yeah,
and and believe in your own, you're projecting yourself as these thoughts, and then you can believe, identify as being objective or believe in the thoughts and get lost in it, and then appear to limit yourself, and then appear to project that in the movie, and then you can project, and then the opposite, where you turn around and look at yourself. What is experiencing this? Which all those questions turn the mirror around on itself. All like, who am I? Am I aware? Direct experience with you as the source of the thought, am I aware? So that's that gap between the two thoughts, which the thought is, I'm aware. Am I aware? The question, am I aware? And then the thought, yes. In that gap, that direct experience of yourself as the empty potential, the substratum from which the question appears and disappears. So then it's like you see yourself, and then, so like, turned outward, you're the mind. Turn inward, no mind. So like, you're the source of the mind. So when you project yourself out, you're the mind. So then you conceptualize yourself, and you project, you measure it. Like when you have after a glimpse, how in the glimpse there's no mind. You're just pot of Brahman. And then the mind comes back in, where you turn awareness back, project out to mind. so that you can evaluate or measure what happened, because the mind will make sense of it and be like, oh, wow, I'm not what I thought I was. So the mind is you as pure awareness, projecting yourself to experience yourself, to measure yourself, to know yourself and limitlessly experience. And it's so cool because you can even conceptualize yourself and try to figure yourself out, even though you're freaking infinite and you'll never figure it all out.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, being all of it, being the mind, being the thoughts, being the every appearance, being every, just pervading everything, all encompassing, all, no word for it because it's beyond intimacy, just pure being, everything. So not
I
scared
have
of any of it, you know. What were you gonna say?
I have a memory or of a thought that I had early on or at another point where I started questioning. And before I even knew a lot of this stuff or remembered a lot of this stuff, and it was like, am I having a battle? Is this all in my head? Like, am I, like, when you look at society and how stretched to the limits it is, and wars, and what's going on in the Middle East or whatever is that conflict, that story, and I'm like, is this all internal? Am I having an internal battle with myself? Right? And that's exactly it. It's like, yeah, dummy, it's
Enough
all
fun.
you, right?
Yeah. It's infinite worlds that you're within you, like you, which is just all imaginary because, like, depending on how you're resonating with feeling is your world, you know. So then when you see yourself as God and everything's God and this is all your mind and there's nothing separate, it's just like a dream at night. It's not really happening. No one is suffering, no one's seeking, no one's getting harmed. You know, no bad things are really happening. Just like a
Mhm.
dream at night where you wake up and you're like, wow, that didn't happen. Um, it's it neutralizes everything. It dissolves everything within yourself. So then you project a more pleasant dream, or like heaven within, heaven without, because it's all you. So then you don't even see stuff like that. You don't even see wars happening or war. It's not you're not on that radio station. You're not on that frequency. So then you're like so it's just consciousness looking at itself from infinite perspective. So it's looking at itself from that perspective of there is no world, there is no one getting harmed, there's just, yeah. And then the more that I was even talking about that, or I was, talking about all I see are happy dog walkers, then it amplified. And then it got ridiculous where that's all I saw was people waving with their, and then there was this creepy, like,
Pleasantville.
yeah, it was like this moment in the Truman Show where this woman was, it was too over exaggerated, where she was sitting there, kneeling down, petting her dog like this, smiling, and then waving. And I was laughing. I was laughing at myself, like I projected that because, yeah. But it's like you see what you want, you're what you pay attention to, you render. And so you can, yeah. And
Yeah,
what
I've
you
witnessed it
resist persists.
lots.
Hmm?
Yeah, I've witnessed it lots the last little
Yeah.
while. Just doing little tests or experiments,
Oh, yes. It is so fun to experiment.
and it's yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can just prove all of this magic to yourself. You're like, oh my God, I am totally infinite. And then, yeah. And you can choose what you pay attention to. Like, um, it's so playful.
I'm starting to see like the lines are blurring. I said before with nighttime dreams and this dream, and now it's conversations I have in my head, or you know what I mean, like in and that's just unmanifested thoughts, really, kind of thing. Like it's like you can start a conversation in your head and then start speaking out loud without even breaking the sentence, because it's it's like it's just not being projected onto the screen of awareness because you're not allowing it to be, really, I guess. Depends on the thoughts, right? If you don't, if you think, I mean, if you're thinking in your head that I'm flying over my house right now, but you don't believe that's actually true, then well, it's not going to happen until you go all in and believe
Yeah.
in
It's amazing.
everything. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
When you see that there's no outside cause, that you're the only cause, and you
Yeah.
truly abide as the absolute with total doubtless conviction, totally doubtless. I mean, yeah, it's like instant manifestation and instant, you know, you're invincible. You're totally infinite. Um, I mean, which you already are, but it's like remembering that, remembering.
I think the first time that when I make my appearance of flying to a crowd, I'm going to do the Marvel landing, the fist on the ground, and like, hey, how you doing? Like, who are
That's
you?
awesome.
Super Brent.
Yeah. Infinite
I'm definitely not going to
cities.
wear a skin tight suit, though. I don't think.
That's awesome. No capes.
No cape.
Yeah.
Well, I might change it up. And I was thinking, like, you could drive a different car every day, brand new car. You could drive a 79 Trans Am right off the line, 0 kilometers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just infinite.
Infinite fun. Infinite fun.
It's so
Infinite
awesome.
fun.
Yes. And
Yeah,
it runs
everything's
on
just,
nothing.
I know. And then I mean, you see very clearly everything was just a limited belief, and it was
Yeah.
all a lie. It was all
Yeah.
it was all make believe. It was because it's infinite. It's infinite meaning. It's whatever meaning you give it because you're God. So
Yeah.
then when you were giving it that meaning, you were projecting it on the screen. I remember when I mean, I did so many experiments with this for like 7 years or something, but um I was just constantly busting myths. Like a belief would come up and I'd be like, nah, no, that's ridiculous. Like just completely defying everything. Like it was all a bullshit story that I told it, I can do anything, I can be anything. So then the body was invincible. I could do anything. And then from that perspective, everything was manifesting instantly. It was ridiculous. And it was like a total magic show and could do anything, could be anything. And I remember taking my boys to the lake for the whole day. And back in the day, I would have put the UV protection on it because I thought that Finn burned easy, which all of that was a lie. It was all a fucking illusory limited belief, you know, because you can bless the imaginary sun, which is just a imaginary hallucination in your mind. It's not even a thing called a sun. It's not even an object. But I could see that that was a limited belief, that sun burns the skin or it affects whatever, and it was all a scam. And then it was like that was a limited belief to think that Finn burns easy. So then I blessed all of it. I was like, okay, the sun all day he's going to be without the UV protection and barely get tanned. And then I imagine, you know, like imagine that, and you know, with total conviction. And then sure enough, by 7 hours later, he barely has a tan, you know, and back in the dream story, you know, before recognizing that, I would have projected him being burned and or needing the lotion, but you are the lotion. You are
That's
you are the placebo. You are every supplement. You are every medicine. You're the omnipotence giving power to these illusory dead icons that aren't real. They, like lotion, is not real. It's not an object.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm the same way. It'd be like I went through a summer of I'd have gloves on, the long sleeve shirt, because I would go out trolling around fishing for hours, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be burnt to a crisp." I wear these great big brimmed hat. Now it's just like it's exactly it. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a nice tan. Next thing you know, I come in, I'm a little red. Next day, it's perfectly golden tan. It's total opposite of what used to happen. Totally.
Yeah, it changes
It's so weird.
like in that video, it changes the perspective of yourself as consciousness, changes the decisions and the trajectory of the, so it kind of it changes the randomness and the probability distributions. So it
Exactly.
like a video game where it up levels, transcends limited concepts of itself more
Mhm.
and more, and it can either appear gradual or instant, or like kind of like deleting a malware on a computer or a hard drive or something, where it's like all the limited beliefs fall off instantly, or you know, they can appear to gradually be dissolved within you. But yeah.
I guess it depends on how much conviction you go on. If you're all in,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
then I would assume,
For sure. You're like an incinerator, your awareness. So when you're aware of being aware of it, it dissolves instantly. You can't
instantly.
even, you can do an experiment where you can try to hold on to a idea, thought, appearance, sensation, whatever, and it dissolves within you. When you're aware of being aware of it, it disappears. I mean, you are the existence giving rise to it. So in those, when you're aware of being aware of it, you see yourself as the absolute. And then, yeah. Yeah, so it's not the character that wakes up, it's awareness, aware of itself. And then you're like, oh snap, I wasn't the character. So it's like the analogy of the being the unchanging screen in the movie theater that's aware of the beautiful movie playing upon it. You know, you're not in the dream, you're not in the movie. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't and then you'll have these moments because you can only know what it's not. So like you'll have an examine the progress of, you know, the aware, you know, the expansion of awareness through the reference of what it's not. So through the contrast of when you didn't see it like this, you know, because then you can see the how, you know, how it appears to transcend itself or up level, or which is so beautiful, because you couldn't recognize yourself as God without reference to what you're not, without dreaming yourself as what you're not, you know. So you needed that reference point of projecting yourself as an illusion, as a projecting yourself as the mind, so that you can experience. It can just get more and more obvious, like even literal, like when you close your eyes, literally there's no world, there's no body. But the imagination can abstract, well, there's still a body, well, that's just a thought. And then with the eyes closed, it's obvious that everything appearing, every sound, sensation is appearing in you as consciousness, in your consciousness. And it can also be obvious that this awareness that everything's appearing in is formless, bodiless, but it has no boundary or border or beginning or end. You can't tell where it starts or begins or ends.
Mm-hmm.
And so even the sensation of the body is just an impersonal sensation appearing in the pure consciousness that you are. And if you're aware of it, you can't be that. You can't be bound to being that. You would precede it, you'd be prior to it, which is even logical. And how funny that it can go unquestioned for so long, or not looked at, you know, when it's like hiding in plain sight by being too obvious, you know. It's amazing. But just as the eye can't see itself, it can only be itself. You can only be, you know, you can only be the infinite awareness that's seeing, experiencing. You can't see it because you're not an object. But you can see yourself in everything that you're projecting yourself as. You can see yourself in sitting in a chair. You can feel yourself as the infinite by hearing the stomach growl. You know, it's like this beautiful wonderland that you are imagining, so that you can experience and interact with yourself as the bodiless, formless, invisible, invincible singularity.
I get a lot of Alice in Wonderland rays, and a song popped up called Welcome to Wonderland the other day. And I was up the other night, one of those crazy nights, and I come back, I jump back into bed, and I see was the Cheshire Cat with the big grin. I'm like, this thing. So it's all, everything is all right there.
Yeah.
It's all right
Oh
there.
my gosh. This is funny. One night before bed, I was like, attention and an intention, rendering. I want to wake up in my dream tonight. I want to wake up in the dream, have an awakening in the dream. Yeah. And just for fun, because I've done that a few times. And then that night, you and I were hanging out. I don't
Nice.
remember what we were doing. I don't remember, but I remember that in the morning that we were hanging. And then I did have awakening in the dream. Yeah.
Did I look just like me, or was I different? Because when I see people in my dream that I know what they look like, they are a little bit different. They're never exactly the same. You know what I
Of
mean?
course, yeah, because you're not the body. You're not, yeah, you're
Yeah.
the consciousness dreaming it. Yeah.
And I wonder what I look like, because I never see myself in a mirror. in my
It's
own dream.
just, it's like an energy signature.
So
It's like
weird.
one immutable energy appearing as infinite energy signatures, like a frequency. It's one frequency, but appearing as unique flavors of the frequency, you know? So it's,
That makes sense because when I did or the memory of doing the high dose of mushrooms, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, there were so many different versions of Brent. Like it
mm-hmm,
was just like I couldn't focus on one because it was just like everything's morphing, and it was so crazy. So that's and it's the many versions of Brent. And who knows? I mean, we're changing all the time. Like you wake up and you're never the same person at any moment anyways,
mm-hmm.
right? So you're always changing. So that's that's interesting.
Well, yeah, you're not the character, you're
No,
conscious.
I know. Yeah,
You don't have a characteristic. You're the substratum from which characteristics appear and disappear within you, and just experiencing the flavors of it are um yeah, and that can go unnoticed too. It's so funny when you really get naked um of all of the things that come and go, the sensations, the appearances, the when you really see it for what it is, like holy shit, these things, like the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, even the character that is seen in the mirror appears to change. It appears and disappears throughout the day. When I'm not paying attention to it, it doesn't even exist until I pay attention to it. So I can't be that. I'm what always remains. I'm what's always there, which is awareness, presence, beingness. And I don't have a body. I don't have a form, but I'm projecting myself as these conceptual ideas that are appearing as forms in my imagination so that I can, have fun with myself. Yeah. What a relief. Yeah. Like when I remember first when awareness was aware of itself, and I was like, holy shit, I am not the character. I'm not even in the body. There are no bodies. There is no world. There is nothing physical. This is all a dream. And what a relief that was, to so it was when awareness was not being distracted by the objects of awareness or objects of experience. It's projecting, and it turned around and looked at itself. And then it's like, oh my gosh. Thank God I'm not the body. Oh my God. Because that seemed so doomed or finite, and there was always questioning. There was throughout, the dream, I was like, this can't be real. This can't be finite. There's got to be something infinite. There's got to be something underneath this that's hiding. Yeah, like, what is it? What is going on here? And all of those questions are itself waking itself up from the dream, consciousness dreaming.
exactly.
And then the more you question, the more it opens, and the more you answer yourself. You are the answer. So you just keep turning around, turning around back on yourself. The I
Yeah,
that, yeah.
yeah, because it's like I did the same thing. I'm like, God, there's got to be something more to this. Like, what's the point then? Like, really? You're born, then you die, then you don't exist. What's the point?
I
And
know.
why do we have to work 9 to 5? Like, why? Like,
I
it's
know.
stupid. It's just dumb.
Those were the questions. That was the
And
best thing to
that
me.
would, yeah. And it just burns and it makes you so, yeah, it turns yourself, you turn inward and you're like,
Yeah.
there's gotta be something else. There's gotta be.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It was so cool. Because before in the story, right before, um, awareness was just being aware of itself, I was dreaming, a really fucked up world, and I was getting so disenchanted with it, which was part of the beautiful recipe for the fuck it surrender, or for the turning back around on itself, you know, because you can't, when you're enchanted with it and you're, you know, yeah, you're immersed in it, you know, but when you're starting to get repulsed and you're like, no, this can't be real. And that's when it's like, okay, it's inevitable. Awakening is inevitable. Everyone wakes up because everyone already knows that they're God, already knows that they're the infinite. And it's not the character that wakes up, it's the one dreaming, the pure consciousness that's dreaming this dream, you know, remembers it, recognizes itself, and so that, you know, there are no characters to wake up. There is no one else to wake up. There's only the one, you know. So once you're convinced, there's no one else to convince. Once you see very clearly that there is no entity, there's no separate individual, then there is no separate individual. There is no one else, because it's all you. It's amazing too how I'm working on this app called Spirit Collective to it's like a social media marketplace that I was telling you about. And it's very obvious I'm not doing any of it. It's like watching a movie that's playing upon me, or like witnessing the hands, because I'm doing the graphic design, but I'm not doing the graphic design. So watching, doing all this stuff, it's almost like accidents. It's almost like it's just spontaneously, accidentally appearing. It's so weird. But I remember when I thought that I was doing it, when I was taking ownership or credit, I was like, I'm getting credit for this. I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, look at this art that I'm doing, and kind of jacking off to it, you know? But now it's like, there's no doer, there's no creditor, there's just one universe, one God, you know? And this is just a beautiful appearance, beautiful dream that's not even really happening. But yeah, so it's cool to reference point, you know, when the little things that seem to have shifted, or the perspectives, you know. Yeah, and it's just doing itself like a movie that's playing in the movie theater. So it's like there was no choice whether or not to come together with this partner, and then there was no choice or not to come together for the dream characters to be appearing to create this app, you know. It's amazing. It's like the analogy of divine will, divinely willed, divine unfoldment, you know. And it's all intuitive. The intuition navigates the character in the dream. It's doing itself effortlessly. When there's no resistance to it, it's obvious that even the effort was effortless. You know, it was like all effort was just an impersonal sensation appearing in consciousness, being tasted. You know, it's like perception. All it is perception. Mm-hmm. And it's just doing itself without, you don't even have to have a thought. You don't even have to do you're not doing anything. It's just doing itself. And it always has been. And so then I could remember when I thought that I was doing it and how it seemed like such effort. Like I was like, you know, oh, I got to do this, got to do that. And I'm doing this and I'm doing it's like, and this is just kind of like tubing down an imaginary river. You just laid back and are in the hammock,
Laying in the hammock. Yeah.
laying in the hammock, and it's all appearing on you as the screen of awareness. This whole movie is just playing, and you're not having to do anything. So it's like that. I wanted to make a graphic GIF of a cosmic galactic lazy boy falling out of the sky or the universe and dropping down, because it's like infinite recliner, like, you know.
Did I show? I saw a short that popped up. I thought I'd sent it to you. It was a raging river and a guy floating down on a recliner, just relaxing, maxing and
Yes,
relaxing. And he had his arm
you
up
sent
and he's
it to
just
me.
like,
That was brilliant. I loved it. That's it. That
that's
sums it
right.
up right there.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like Peter Brown said, you don't give a fuck what happens in the dream, because you're not even in the dream. So like you are, like, even in that where it was like a flood, you know, he was just kicked back on the
That's right.
floating down. Fuck it. Who
Yeah.
cares? It's
Yeah.
not even happening. It's all my imagination. It's all, and that can be obvious. That can be um just like the analogy of the VR headset. You're not on the roller coaster. You're the mind behind it that's feeling the sensations being elicited, like the dizziness or the stomach going up or this, you know, the nausea or whatever. You're just pure perception, pure awareness, pure perceiving, pure tasting, sensing. You're not in the illusion. You're just, yeah, you're not affected by it. Yeah, it's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah, and look around you at this magic that you're rendering. Your God, this can't appear without you. This whole room just magically appeared because I paid attention to it. It didn't exist before me. I'm the source giving rise to it. And when I'm not paying attention to it, it's me as the infinite potential, the empty potential. It can be anything. It's in a superposition. It can be anything, you know. And memory and assumption projects the same outside when you walk out of your house. But like Brent was saying earlier, you know, the that's also a false assumption, you know, that that's what's outside. You can shift scenes, you can shift worlds. You can, I mean, you're fucking infinite. You're more infinite than you can even imagine. So I had a chat on the phone with someone that would be sitting on the sofa in his living room, and then all of a sudden he's driving through the mountains. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
And
infinite. It's like,
I know it's true because I've said it before where I was on uh, psilocybin mushrooms that's just placebo, but looking at my wall downstairs and all of a sudden it disappeared and all I saw were these blank cubes and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And it was just unrendered. It was just me remembering beyond this wall, there's nothing. It's unrendered. It was fucking, just empty cubes for as far as I'm like, what? What is
that's
that?
amazing. That's amazing. Wow.
And I jump
Yeah.
up my couch and I'm like, what is reality? That was
Yeah,
another slap in the
I
face.
love
Yeah.
the math about this too. That's kind of looking at, you know, proving that consciousness is fundamental and is outside of the illusion of time and space. So you are not in this dream, you're not in the illusion. You're the one aware of it that's giving rise to it. But they talk about, even with the math, talking about outside of the illusion of time and space, there's these infinite geometric shapes and just really cool. It's just consciousness looking at itself and from every perspective, you know, it's and looking at it from looking at yourself from infinite perspective all at once, simultaneously. There is no thing. You're too fucking infinite, you know? So that's why it's cool that you can appear to be looking through yourself through an apparent unique aperture in a way that you can even see a tree or see, you know, because if you're looking at yourself at a tree from infinite perspectives, what's a tree? You know, it's really cool how you can manipulate yourself is what's appearing, and see yourself from a unique perspective and taste that flavor of it, which there is no tree, you know, it's all formless mental, it's all perception, it's all knowing, it's just knowing. Yeah, even the I love what Donald Hoffman said about his experiment with the theorem, or when they were doing the math, trying to look at how his theory of conscious agents and how consciousness is appearing as conscious agents. The math kept proving that there are no conscious agents. There's only one conscious agent. And he kept trying it again, and one would only get one conscious agent. It's so beautiful. There are no separate souls or entities. There's just one. There's just one. Yay! Thank you. Loved hanging.
Thank
I
you
know, it's
guys.
so
That
awesome.
was so fun. You guys are
Oh,
awesome.
thank you, Holly. Yay! You're awesome. I heard your freaking music.
Yes, I saw your comment. Thank you.
Wow. Did you write that song or what? Or
Yeah,
what? Oh my
yeah.
God. Send me the MP3 or so if you have one. It's
I
freaking.
don't.
Oh my
That was just
God.
something I did on my phone. Yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
oh my God. I want you to record it. That is beautiful.
thanks, Ginny.
Stunning.
Oh, you guys are so inspiring to listen to. It's just beautiful. I love it. Absolutely love it.
You are too. Yay. Yeah. Oh my gosh, just one talking to itself. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like every time a question came up or something I wanted to say, I was just like, no, it's just all doubt. It's all doubt. So I'm just gonna listen.
Yeah, isn't that cool how playful the thoughts are? When you witness them, and
Yeah.
catch on to all that, you're just like, oh, you can't fool me anymore.
Because it wants to understand every little thing, and that's the doubt disguising
Yeah.
itself as,
Hmm.
Mhm.
Totally.
And the questions that you have sometimes they just get answered. Someone just starts talking about it.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like when I was watching the video the other day, I'm like, well, what about this? Next thing you know, that's what came up. And I'm like, of course it did. Of course it did.
Oh yeah, so many things you guys were saying. It was just like, yeah, like even talking about the skin burning, I'm literally doing that, because I have like
Awesome.
bare skin and
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have an invisible cloaking device. I did that for 2 years with an expired tag on my car. Had an invisible cloaking device. You can do anything. Do
That's
anything.
so funny. I didn't get an MVI for like a year, and I was just, I
Mhm.
just don't feel like doing it. And I just was like, I'll be fine. I even got pulled over by the cops at Christmas.
Mhm.
I got pulled over by the cops, and they were like, they just let me go.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's all a limited belief or false assumption, and it's malleable. It's like a myth ready to be busted. It's like it can be anything. It can be any meaning, any, whatever you label it. Just like sensations in the body can be, you can label it benign and good for me. It's all healthy. It's all good for me. And then you render that. So amazing.
Yeah, I gotta render this shoulder nice and healthy.
Oh,
Yeah,
you want to hear
exactly.
something? Huh? What were you saying?
That's exactly it. Yeah, just believe that it's healthy, and that's
Yeah,
it.
just feel it completely,
Yep.
like with conviction. So, I was already myth busting, already could see through all the scams, and something funny happened where I had a pinched nerve in the arm for the first time. I'd never felt that sensation before, which is just all imaginary placebo because there's no arm. It's just a finite temporary sensation appearing in pure consciousness, tasting. But I was already onto that and was already transmuting it. But when I went to bed that night, I fell asleep with that still sensation was appearing. Then right when I woke up in the morning, you know how like right in the morning, it's just blank slate, pure consciousness. You don't have a body, you don't have a life, you never, nothing exists. It's just pure consciousness. There was no pain. And then a memory came up. So it was paying attention to the memory that there was pain. And right when I paid attention to that memory, it appeared. And I was like, oh, you little you sneaky little thing. And then I, just transmuted it that day. I think I did, because everything's a witchcraft ritual. It's all a ritual to convince yourself that because it's you that's healing everything, because you're the only cause. And um, there's no outside substance, or you are the only substance. There's no outside. Anything would be like a dead icon that you're giving power to. You're projecting, that it works, which is basically just, with conviction, believing that you're already healed. It just gets more and more obvious how playful that is, and then even the resistance to it, allowing it to be there, the all-inclusive tantric quality of being everything, allowing it to be there. It's all temporary. It's all just like this morning. There's no eyes. I mean, there's no one seeing behind the eyes. There's no body. There's just consciousness, seeing. There's no one seeing it. Seeing's not happening from the eyes. But when I got up this morning and I was reading a text, the whole room and everything, the text was vibrating. Everything was vibrating, moving. And I laughed and I was just like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool experience. Before, I may have been like, oh shit, what the hell's happening to my vision? What's happening to my eyes? But then it was like I didn't care, and I was just laughing. I was like, oh, trippy, how cool. And then it went away because there's no resistance to it, but also it would have gone away anyway. It's all fleeting, finite sensations that aren't permanent. You're the permanent. You're the awareness that you are that doesn't have a body is all that's permanent, is all that's always there. This
It's weird
screen. Mhm.
how things get so solidified. Like with this arm, there's been 10 years of not, it's this arm actually, 10 years of not being able to lift it. So it's just, it seems like there's a
Mhm.
past that solidified that.
Yeah, it's just
Because it's
paying
been
attention to that
such an
thought.
apparent long time, but mm,
Yeah,
You forgot
because
which arm
all
it
of,
was.
what'd you say?
You even forgot what arm it was.
Yeah,
But in
I
that
did.
moment, right?
It was a dream.
Exactly.
Well, it's because
Yeah,
they told me not to move this arm, so yeah.
but that's just a lie. That's an illusion. That's a limited
Mm,
belief. It's not real. And it's because it's just you paying attention to a thought and then projecting on the movie screen an illusory placebo of it. Like if you could project the opposite of that, like
mhm,
um the arm is fully mobile, like it doesn't have to be any
mhm.
certain way.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Miraculous
seen
healing.
miracles with other things, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just the belief that's the resonance in that that's projecting it like a limitation. It's a illusory limitation because nothing happened before this. This is timeless. Right now, you were just born just now. There's a clean slate. The body is completely healthy. Nothing's ever happened to it. It's invincible. It's timeless. It's formless. You're infinite. But then there can be the thought, oh, this happened to it. This, I was diagnosed with this. This doctor told me this. I had this surgery. And then it projects this illusory sensation of that, which is just a hallucination.
Yeah, when the doctor was telling me all this bad news, I'm just like, nope, no, 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 no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that.
Yeah, and I was creating that, so it's just interesting, like that
Yeah.
I chose that I created that.
Yeah, to up level, to see that you're not the
Mm,
body, to see that
mhm,
you're, because any of those, when you dream people saying finite, limited stuff, that intuition triggers, hell no.
mhm.
It's screaming hell no. Because you know you're the infinite, you know you're not the body, you're limitless. And so that's why all of those thoughts don't, they feel uncomfortable, like the frequency of it.
Yeah, it seems to be the body stuff seems to be where where I've been at for a bit. It's the body, like
Yeah, it's a
this I've
beautiful
been.
opportunity. It's a gift. It's a
Mhm,
gift to transcend it, to see that you're the awareness giving rise to the body. You're not the body, and you don't have a body, and
mm,
the body is not even a body. There, it's formless. It's infinite. It's malleable. It's just transient energy. It's um, you as pure awareness, dreaming it, projecting it, so it can't. Um, you can never be harmed. You can never be affected by anything because you're the only cause. So, and then the thought, paying attention to the thought, I need to do something to fix this, just reinforces that the illusory body needs to be fixed. And there is something called a body. So there can be a seeing that there's not even a body, and then it instantly heals everything that was, identified with as something harmful that happened to something that wasn't real. So it just deletes it. It's like, so that's why it's a clean slate every moment, miraculous, nothing ever happened. So that's why healing is instant now, because nothing ever happened before this. There's no future for a body to heal in. There is no
mhm,
future. There is no body to heal.
mhm,
Yeah. The more I inquired, the more I focused on the felt sense of beingness without thought, just pure basking in presence of the self, the awareness, being aware of itself. Just the more it just, that's all there is. And there is no world to heal or body to heal um, but yeah, I could see those when it was gradually still coming up. When something would come up with the body, it was an opportunity to transcend the body. When something was, it's just always the opportunity to be completely free. And it won't you resist persist, so it'll keep coming up until you transmute it.
Yeah.
And so, or see it for what it is, like be aware of being aware and see that you're not the avatar, you're not the body. You're the screen from which it can appear and disappear, because you always remain. How could you be that changes, that comes and goes? That's you would be what remains, what's always here.
Isn't it weird how you can be aware? Like I'm aware, being aware, but yet still feel like you're the body, or it's like a sense.
Well,
It's just
that
like
that feeling
yeah.
would be appearing in you as the awareness, so you would perceive that feeling. So you
Yeah.
can't be that which you're perceiving. You cannot be bound to that finite sensation that's appearing and disappearing. If you really investigate, it just reveals itself very, yeah. And if you're aware of it, it's like an incinerator. You fucking dissolve it. So try to hold on to one of those feelings. You can't. It dissolves within you. You swallow it as the source. That's emptiness. You are emptiness. So even if you focus on that feeling, if you're aware of that feeling, that I feel like I'm a body, which is just a thought. Because what is there without that thought? There's just pure awareness. And you can see that that thought is only there when you pay attention to it, when you're aware of it. It doesn't exist when you're not. So that can't be what you are.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, experiment with it. Try to hold on to or keep a sensation there, or keep, it's like awareness is like it's like the creator and the destroyer. It destroys everything that, I mean, you dissolve it within you. Your awareness sees it, the absolute sees itself. And if you're witnessing the thought, then you're not the thought. And so you can't be fooled by any of that anymore. If you're aware of the mind, then you're prior to it. I saw it as a game for a while to like up level. Like I was excited when opportunities came up to transcend it or myth bust it, or because it was like an up leveling. Like I was very vigilant. I did not want to be scammed anymore. And when you vigilantly watch the ego, the whatever's being resisted, when you vigilantly watch it, you transmute all of it.
Mm.
The self sees itself, and then it's so obvious you are everything. There was nothing to be afraid of. It was all a projection of your mind. It is you. You can feel that everything is you, everything as this immortal being that's bodiless and formless and doesn't have a character.
Mm. It feels like belief ties into feeling, and that's what velcros it together. That's what holds the, like, belief and feeling feel like intertwined somehow. Like even just subtle little feelings, then belief attaches to it.
Yeah, that would be a thought, a transient finite thought
Mm.
that would label it, which is just make believe. It's not real. It's just a distraction. Like I was saying in the quote in the beginning, what's being looked for is the awareness, which you already are. So, when you, even when you ask yourself, am I aware? There's just the silent, empty awareness that you are. So awareness is aware of itself. So it's awareness is not paying attention to the mind that it's projecting with all of its imaginary content and thoughts. Instead of being distracted with its projection of object of experience, it turns around and looks at itself. And then there are no thoughts, because what you are is non-computational, precedes the mind. You're the source of the mind. So there would not be an answer in that. When you ask yourself, am I aware? Mirror turns around on itself and you're completely direct experiencing yourself as the source of the question. And then you turn yourself back around and you answer, yes, I am aware. But you are that empty gap between those two thoughts from which the thoughts appear and disappear. So you are the substratum, the empty screen of awareness from which thoughts appear, bodies appear, characters appear, qualities appear, worlds appear. You are that. So that's why you dreamed these characters saying, just ask, who am I? Just ask, just inquire, turn around and look at yourself. Who am I? What's aware of this? Am I aware? Do I exist? All of those questions hit you see yourself as the absolute, all of it. And it's too simple. It's too easy. And playfully and mischievously, the thought will appear, it can't be that easy. It's got to be conceptual. It's got to be hard. I got to go on a journey. It's got to be somewhere in the future. It's got to be, but that's it projecting itself as that thought to distract itself just for fun, to get distracted with the thoughts. But it is itself as the thoughts. It's not separate from the thought. It's projecting itself. So it's not anything scary or separate, but it's playfully distracting itself with those thoughts. So you can't work this out with the mind, and just you can't work out a thought with another thought. It's the cessation of thoughts that works out the thought. So that's why you dreamed yourself as characters like Papa G saying, just keep quiet. Just keep quiet. Stop conceptualizing it. Just be aware of being aware. And that's it. It's too easy. Too easy. And then you're on top of all of it, like you can't be fooled by the mind anymore. The mind, you're the source of the mind. How can it have power over you? You are the power. And then you vigilantly witness the thoughts, and then you're like a dumpster fire. You transmute everything. It can't affect you anymore. It's neutralized. And when it all comes home, when it's all allowed to be, when you feel like I wrote the other day, suffering is happiness being resisted. Because if you really feel it, you really bring it home with awareness, being aware of it without thought, just being it intimately, it turns into happiness, suffering, sadness, depression. Because all of that is just resisting a part of yourself. And so when you feel it fully without resisting, it comes home and neutralizes. And then you never get depressed again. You never get, because what you resist persists until you bring it home, neutralized by being aware. It's as simple as that. It's just being aware without thought, and that's it. It's too easy.
Yeah.
So even there might be a resistance of the body sensations or this can transmute all of it. Just be aware of it without thought, and it brings it home. It's amazing. It's like a super weapon. It's like a superpower that everyone is already. Yeah, and the gradual story, the gradual dream of the unfold, like unfurling, I would just vigilantly integrate every, dissolve it, be aware of it without thought, and just bring it home. And it was like a passionate love affair with everything. Everything's the opportunity to realize you're already home. So something would arise that was resisted, and instantly I'd feel it without thought and swallow it.
Yeah.
Dissolve it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It's magic. It's so magic and beautiful. And then you see, and then it just unfurls more and more, and nothing's resisted. You are everything. How could anything be separate from you, or scary, or harmful? Or you're not scared of thoughts, so they're not loud anymore. They're quiet. And there's no such thing as a fucked up thought, because there's no good or bad, because there's only singularity. So there's no shaming or guilt or identity with I shouldn't have had that thought, or I should be this way or that way. There's no shoulds. It's all, that was all a myth. That was all make believe. There's no good or bad. So then you can eternally bless everything, like even sensations in the body. They're good for me. Well, then they're good for you.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it is. It's, yeah, it's constantly self-evolving and like a video game, up-leveling or transcending limitations of itself. So it's just like tasting that experience and then up-leveling because it responded differently. When they're seeing it for what it is, there's a different response. And so then there's an up-level kind of thing, where it's like transmuting itself. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yay. Thank you, friends. That was so fun. Love y'all. We'll chat soon.
Have a great day. See you next
Yay.
time.
Okay, bye.